Hello and welcome to another Tri-tutors video. In today's video we're going to be analysing the poem Strangers Forever by Kassam. So a bit of information about our poet. Kassam was born in 1948 in Kenya and he's been published in many East African magazines. Let's move on to the poem. The title of the poem is Strangers Forever. And we can definitely see that there is contradiction in this title. It is a paradoxical title or an ironic title because our understanding of a stranger is someone who you don't know, and therefore once you spend time with that person they are no longer a stranger to you. So the longer you spend with someone, sort of the less of a stranger they are. But this title insinuates that you are a stranger with someone forever. And so we can understand this in terms of once we've read the poem, the speaker is trying to reference his message is that some things are extremely personal, and so no other person is going to ever truly know everything about you, and so we are going to remain strangers forever in some respect as we move through life. So the title is really significant, and we're going to come back to talking about the title at the end of the poem because the final line of the poem is an inversion of these two words. Please note that this poem is one long stanza. I've just split it up on the slide so it's easier to see the wording. Each of us is a passenger, seated in one huge compartment, going we do not know where, all strangers, thrown together by chance, who travel without arriving. This poem actually has quite a few themes and different messages going on all at once. But we start off with each of us. The use of each is significant because it's a singular word. It shows the sense of solitude in our journey through life. Is a passenger. If you think about the connotations of a passenger is someone who is not in control of the journey. And so each of us is a passenger. This is also a metaphor, comparing the journey of life to a train journey. And the fact that we're a passenger in this means that it's not really up to us sort of what happens on the journey. We're not deciding where we're going or how we're moving. Seated in one huge compartment. So each of us, that's all the singular, all different people from all different walks of life. We're all individual and we all have to experience life in sort of solitude, yet we're seated in one huge compartment, meaning we're on the same journey together. The use of compartment links to that this is a train because that's the sort of terminology that we use when we're talking about a train. This metaphor of us being a passenger on a train in terms of how we are passengers in sort of the journey of life is effective as it emphasizes how we don't know other people's entire stories and we have to endure life in solitude, yet we all have a similar journey, traveling through life, and we have a common destination. We have a common destination which is not really spoken about here, but perhaps we can think of it, or we can think of what it could potentially be, which could be death, right? That's ultimately all of our endings. The enjambment over here, the enjambment is the run-on lines, so you can notice the enjambment throughout the lines that I've read so far. This enjambment emphasizes that life's journey never stops, it never ceases. Going, we don't know where. So this makes a comment on in life, we don't know exactly where we're going and why we're going there, why we're doing this. We don't really have all those answers. We're just traveling through life. Everyone else is sort of in the same boat as us, but we each have our own distinctive journeys within this unified experience. We all travel through life on our own missions and we come across many people, but the speaker's going to talk about how we don't really know their stories exactly. All strangers. So there we go. We're all strangers. We don't actually know what each other is going through. Thrown together by chance. The use of the word thrown is really significant because the connotations of thrown, it's like hurriedly and unceremoniously sort of tossed together or put together. It doesn't seem like there's any thought or reason as to why we've been thrown together or why we've been put together. So the word thrown, those connotations indicate the importance of fate or the importance of chance. There's no particular reason why we meet the people that we meet. It's just sort of how it is. We don't have control over that. Once again, we're the passenger. who travel without arriving. So this line as well, it just really points to the fact there's so many different themes or different ways to interpret the meaning of this poem. There's so many different meanings or elements to the theme. So he says that we're all traveling on this train, yet we don't actually arrive anywhere. And so this can perhaps signify the speaker's reflection on the pointlessness or futility of life. It seems directionless. We're sort of on this train, but we have no idea where we're going, and we also traveling the whole time, but we never seem to arrive anywhere. There is not a lot of punctuation in this poem, but one of the punctuation marks that you can see here is the semicolon. And the semicolon shows a distinction because now we've been speaking about sort of everyone's journey on the journey of life, and then we're going to cut or we're going to shift towards a question. So a different version of the theme or the message is going to be discussed. So that semicolon offers a distinction. Before the semicolon, the speaker describes the metaphor comparing life to a train ride and people and passengers. After the semicolon, the speaker comments or reflects on whether we truly know ourselves or others can figure out who we truly are. Can they or can they not figure out who we truly are? Who can read the whispers of your mind when they are hidden even from you? Though you open a window in the chambers of your heart, though you strive to say what you feel, and in striving reach a state of understanding, there is still one part, one small part, that remains your own, one part that neither I nor anyone else will ever penetrate. Forever strangers. So the first 4 lines on this page of who can read the whispers of your mind when they're hidden even from you, this question is really sort of provocative or really makes us think deeply as readers, because it comments on how no stranger knows who we truly are because we ourselves don't know who or what we truly are. We have a lack of understanding about our lives and our direction. If we don't know who we are, even to ourselves and where we're going, what chance does anyone else have at understanding who we are, what we are, and where we're going in life? And so these lines really provoke a lot of thought and link to this theme of directionless or pointlessness, or this lack of understanding in terms of who we are, but also about life itself. Though you open a window in the chambers of your heart, these 2 lines show a metaphor. Obviously, we're not opening a literal window, but though meaning like, even though you open a window meaning like, an opening, you are opening up a part of yourself. If you for instance, love someone or you have a deep relationship with someone, then you're going to allow them to see certain aspects of you. In the chambers of your heart, notice like the use of the word chambers, plural. There's so many elements to your heart. It's really showing this layered sense of humanity. So you try and open a window. Remember, a window is not as big or as free as a door. It's not opening up your entire heart. You cannot possibly do that. But you try and share something about yourself with other people. You try and let them into some of the chambers of your heart. You try and allow them to understand you. Though you strive means you try to say what you feel. You try to come to terms with your emotion. Remember, language itself is a symbol. So what we say is actually only representative of a feeling of how we feel. So the speaker comments on how we try to say things. We try to come into terms with our emotions. And in striving, and as we try, we reach a state of understanding. We reach a sense of understanding or of accepting who we are, or of accepting someone else as who they are. But we really only have a small bit of the information. During our lives, we make an effort. We try to make sense of our lives and understand our lives. We also allow other people to get to know us and even to love us. We try to understand ourselves, and we try to understand others and have others understand us. But ultimately, we don't reach a state of knowledge. Notice the use of words here is we reach a state of understanding, a sense of acceptance. And what's something that we have to come to terms with? There is still one part, one small part. The repetition of part is used for emphasis here, to emphasize the speaker's message. And that one small part that remains your own. So we get to keep a part of ourselves secret. one part that neither I nor anyone else will ever penetrate. So, even though we can share our emotions and our thoughts with others, there is ultimately a part of every individual that will always be only for that person. No one else is able to understand or comprehend that aspect of the individual's identity. The use of the two negatives, neither and nor, really emphasizes how absolutely no one can truly understand you and see exactly who you are, because remember, the speaker claims that we don't even know who we are to ourselves. The full stop at the end of penetrate, remember I mentioned that punctuation is very sparse in this poem, so we have to pay careful attention to when it is used. And that full stop emphasizes the finality of the statement. There's a tone of certainty in the sense that the speaker has said that this is the ultimate, there's no question about it. No one can truly see every aspect of you. And then the last line, forever strangers, which is indented to emphasize this is the ultimate message, the ultimate idea that the speaker is trying to get across to us. There is always something an individual hides from everyone. We don't really know everyone's true reality. We will forever be strangers. And so this indent as well, it's almost like a secret, the fact that we're forever strangers. So it emphasizes that message that there's a part of us that's a secret. And if we go back to the title where it was strangers forever, this shows us that no matter how much time you can spend with someone, and maybe you're not strangers in the traditional sense of the word, you will be forever strangers either to yourself, right? You're a stranger to yourself, or you can be a stranger to others even, no matter how much time you spend with them. The structure of this poem is there's a lot of, irregular lines. There's a lot of enjambment. There's no particular rhyme scheme. It's free verse. And we just have a little bit of punctuation here and then. We've discussed all those punctuation marks and how they're effective. But the enjambment in general and the lack of structure can indicate the progression of the train journey. So the lines and the fact that they keep leading into each other emphasizes how life is just this continuous journey. It also adds to this tone of sincerity and reflection and authenticity as the speaker is reflecting on these major questions about life. The tone of the poem, we can describe it as being a sincere, certain, thoughtful tone, and the mood is quite reflective as he reflects on all these different key questions and key themes about life. The theme and the message of the poem, we can see the theme of the solitary journey of life, the extent to which we can truly know ourselves, and the extent to which we can truly know others, the journey of life in general, and the last bit hints at this theme of individuality, how we all have this unique aspect about us despite our shared experience of life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.